Hey, beautiful souls. I'm Solison, and this is the Untamed Oracle. And we're going to get right into a general reading. So, I drew some pre shuffle cards. I used the Dragon Tarot and the I Ching. And I also meditated last night and wrote some notes down. And a really strong message is coming through right now. So, recently you've been depressed, like big time depressed, by lies or gossip or deceit, words that people have said to you, and you it has caused you to really feel like you've needed to go within to find your strength. Um, Also, like, seek spiritual guidance. It's caused a death of sorts. So, whatever was said, whatever lies or deceits or gossip that was being said about you or about some situation that you've been in, it has caused you to feel like your old self is dying. And what I'm getting to from this is you've had like an epiphany and a spiritual insight, like a download or inspiration, and you've been kind of, source and the divine has kind of been helping you like let this old self die. It's been really hard, and it's like people have seen that they don't care. It's almost like whoever has been saying things about you, maybe you've been somewhat of a scapegoat, but they've turned their backs on you in some way, and um, you're kind of like a sacred rebel in the sense that you live off of truth. You live off of figuring out what's going on, and you have the courage to face it, even if it means you have to change what you're doing, even if it means you have to course correct, even if it means you say something. And I don't think you can always like hold back what you say, but contrary to what other people have said about you, you never gossip about other people. You never just say something just to say it or spew um, deception, lies, or deceit about other people. And so the message is really clear with that this old self or this old pattern needs to be let go of. I feel like, though, in the recent past, you have had you've had a spark of the divine. You've had a spark of an insight, like a spiritual something that has come in with the Ace of Wands here in the Dragon Oracle. And you are finding your strength through that. You have been finding your strength, because I feel like this has happened in the past. I don't know that it's necessarily like an ongoing. The sense of your old self dying, I think, is happening right now. But there's a part of you that loves to give chances. I got the red rose and it made me think of Beauty and the Beast. Like, and there's that dynamic between, if we could analyze that story from lots of different levels, but almost like you believe in giving second chances. That has been sometimes your downfall. Although you have strong discernment and you look for the truth and you look for clarity, you believe that people will change. You believe that once they are shown the truth and you express yourself and you lay it all out there and you come with your integrity, that they will follow suit because you believe in people. But the advice is to be cautious. If people have lied to you in the past, if they've shown their colors in that way, you have to look at actions more than you look at what they're saying. Yeah, more than what they're saying. You need truth. Again, this is like so strong, like oxygen, and you are a natural agitator because you seek truth and because you speak it. And people hate that. They hate the fact that you get away. They feel like you get away with saying things that you shouldn't be able to say. And that's part of the motivation why they say different things, or they try to like manipulate with their words. But they underestimate you. You have been growing. So while you had this death of this old self, there's also like this new birth a part of you, the mystic, the mystic, the high priestess, and you have this fire that cannot be quenched. And you might be in this new beginning phase where you're trying out some of your new spiritual skills in some way. That's what I'm getting with the Page of Wands. But you are destined for success, and you're going to be seen in this new way, with this new you, this new rebirth, and it's gonna bother a lot of people. I think with that, to get you to the other side of the success, because I got the Six of Wands too, there's also a message in here that, to know that all paths lead home, that all things that happen to you help lead you back to your inner core of who you are. And it might feel like I sense some regret that maybe you felt like you could have seen something, you should have known something. But this is all part of the learning process to trust your intuition stronger and stronger. You pick up on the pink flags before the red flags a little bit sooner. It's honing your discernment. It has been honing your discernment. There's a message that you need to shift up or change your your spiritual practice, like how you're connecting to divine. And also with that, the advice to cleanse and detoxify. So sometimes other people, their lies, all words that are said are spells. So they're either casting shade on you, casting darkness, or they're liberating. So that's why integrity and speaking with truth is very important, because it will cast light into the shadow and then disperse the shadow parts. Same with, though, if our weight in medical qigong, it's called your wei qi field in Taoism, and it's basically your aura that keeps you protected, that keeps you safe. And if you're not cleansing and you're not detoxifying, and let's say having a spiritual practice, or even Epsom salt baths or showers, or using breath work to get rid of things in your field, then they start to permeate more and more into your body. And so when people are spewing things at you, it's in your field. And whether or not it gets deeper and deeper, and the deepest penetration is inside your cells, inside your tissues and your organs, and then that's when we have disease. So by cleansing and detoxifying and having a robust spiritual practice, you're strengthening your wei qi field. And then it allows your inner light and your inner wisdom to not be kind of confiscated with lies and darkness and stuff that's not yours, ultimately. So return to sender, when you feel things that are off, just using your words, even to, using your words, that's a confirmation. So using your words to say, that's not mine, and return to sender. And you just have to have that inner, you don't have to, but it makes it more powerful if you have that inner authority, that confidence, to push that away. And then it doesn't penetrate your field. And then your spiritual practice helps the light that's inside of your core expand and fill up. So that's part of Taoist meditation practices. There's qigong and there's neigong, and neigong is the internal martial arts, where literally there's just postures, and you stand and you feel the heat, you feel the fire in your cauldron, your lower abdomen, your womb space, basically. And as that builds that cauldron, that fire, it grows and almost makes this, like, it's puffy all around you. So there's a natural fullness, a natural sense of home, a natural sense of calm in your own energy field. And so it's a natural defense, because your wei qi field is stronger And so people saying things about you, people, casting shade on you, or directing their negative thoughts, because thoughts are um, energy and motion as well, coming at you or going out of you, um, it naturally will diffuse. So with that, I want to say, because I get this message with all paths lead home. So you have this mystic woman, you have this high priestess, and I'm going to draw some more cards in a minute on where you're headed with this, because this is kind of what's happening now. But when people are saying things about you, when people are having negative thoughts at you and they're like coming at you, um, you can do those natural protection mechanisms. You can cleanse, you can detoxify, you can return to sender, you can meditate. But also, this is a call to continuously do inner work, because whatever is left unresolved in us, think of it as like a magnet. Like you have energetic blockages inside your body. Let's say you haven't really quite gotten over an old heartbreak, or it's in the back. And we store different emotions. I'm really simplifying this, but we store different emotions in different places of our body. And so it's basically like a receiver. So something comes in your field, someone projects something at you, or a new person is in your office working with you, and you start to feel like off. That is unresolved stuff. I'm just saying your shoulder because I have shoulder issue right now. But that's just like unresolved stuff, kind of like it's having a reaction to something that's out there. So it's gonna become more inflamed. It's gonna grab your attention. And so just like, oh no, return to sender, oh return to sender, oh return to sender, out of fear, or actually without like actually, okay, what is this about? Yeah. What is this about for me? You need to go within, and then you do need to do the shadow work. And what does this remind me of? This interaction with this person, or this uncomfortability that I feel in my body, and allowing that, integrating that, whatever's there, feel the feelings, cry the things, write in your journal, express your experience. And then when there's nothing to attach to in your field. So that's the deeper way to, well, it's not the deeper way, but it's an essential part of the way to not have things constantly in your energetic field. And then like things that don't stay stagnant, that kind of creep in and penetrate deeper and deeper into our body, that creates disease. That's the Taoist medical Qigong perspective. So just to give you a little bit there. So let's draw some more cards on where you're headed. You are, again, considering what your spiritual practices are. What are your practices to detoxify? You got the Seven of Cups. Let's see what else we got here. And then this card is really interesting. What is in your future? Feels like you're going to have some options, and you might go through a period of confusion where, sometimes we get tested when new patterns are just taking hold. And it's not like we're being tested always on purpose, but it's kind of like you could look at it as the universe's way of like, oh, here's this. This is the old thing that used to attach to you. Oh, there's this. This is what you used to do every single time. Oh, there's this. Like, it's just resonance. It's resonated in your field in the past. So almost before that new, and we could bring even psychology, that new neural pathway, that new behavior, that new choice that you want to choose more than the things that you chose in the past has really fully developed. That other stuff will linger in your field. It will linger in your field as options. And it's like, do you want this or that? And all paths lead home. So if you don't like the choice that you had in the past, or what you chose in the past, you can choose something different. And very different than patriarchal religions that tell you that there's a right way and a wrong way, and there's sin, and there's this and that, and you're going to be damned, and, fear tactics. It's really just like, think of life as like a menu. And it's like, do you want, what do you want to experience? And there's, it's more nuanced than this, but basically like, you could have this, or you could have that, or you could have that. Do you want any? No, you don't want that. You want a new restaurant? Okay, you go to a new restaurant. And what do you want? And you try a dish and you're like, I don't really like that. So you was it a failure? Was it a sin? Was it a mistake? No, you're just like, oh, I don't really prefer that, so let me see what I do prefer. So it's just like we have choices. And ultimately, each choice that's more in alignment with our authentic self, we become more at home in us, in our own energy. We're all different and we're all meant to be like, this is my feeling, like the best version of our authentic self. We're not supposed to be like anyone else. And so we have options. You have options coming your way. And instead of being afraid, because we get afraid when we feel like we made a mistake or bad things happened to us, like, oh, well, these people in the workplace, they said these bad things about me, or I can't, like, what did I do wrong? Or I chose the wrong person and they betrayed me. And it's like, okay, you learn discernment more and more. You get more like keyed in on seeing things more clearly, but you didn't make a mistake. You're learning. But you can choose something different. So, well, do I want more of the old that I had, or do I want to take a risk and try something new and learn from that? So, I also got the Four of Wands, and it's interesting because I got the wedding card. So, I don't know what that means for some of y'all, but it does mean stability. It does mean stability in the new you, and that's what the pictures of the cards really represent to me, because we go through a death with the Ten of Swords, and then I got in the I Ching card, the Art of Dying. Like, there's the death of an old version, an old choice that that is not working for you anymore. But with the new ones, especially with all this fire energy, the wand energy, and the spark, you have these ideas. You've had this idea. It's like you're working on it currently, whatever it is that you're working on, and it's gonna settle into more stability. And I love that for you guys. And maybe in relationship, and maybe it's a union of your divine feminine and masculine aspects of yourself. So it doesn't have to be another person, but it can. And you got the shaman. Ooh, the shaman. I love this for you guys. Gosh, you're a spiritual badass. We got so many. The shaman, the high priestess, the mystic woman. Who are you? Let those old people go. We want new choices because you got some good stuff happening. I'm going to pull another I Ching card. Sometimes these can be pretty, so we'll see. This is like looking at the future, the near future. And obviously you can change this. If it doesn't resonate, it's not for you. You say, cancel that. Nope, not that thing. Or yes, I claim that. So hold on. Hold on. We got 34 and 40. And other numbers that have been coming up are 1010 and 555, 222. And also, for some reason, the tiger. So that might mean something to someone. So hold on, and do not judge. So, the pictures of these cards, I'm not going to show them, in this video, but it's like you have been, it's discernment, because it's like you kind of be careful and not have, not positively project and ignore behaviors but you also don't want to do the same thing that was done to you. With the hold on card, it's like, you've been hurt. There's lots of wounds on this person's back, and he now has a whip in his hand. And then it's interesting because it's the do not judge. And, when you have all this spiritual power, like, the shaman and the high priestess and the mystic woman, I don't think this is for you guys, but sometimes I don't think this is the collective that I'm talking to, but sometimes even when let's say we have the wound that's still there, it's still raw. And so we might be tempted to act out of the place of the wound more than our true core self. And so it's nothing, you're going to be victorious. We got the Six of Wands here. You're going to be victorious. It's just maybe a little caution. I'm going to get one more card with this. This Might Hurt Tarot. I like this deck. It's fun. I'm not going to read it in the book, but if you guys haven't heard of This Might Hurt Tarot, it's kind of like It's your best friend kind of just giving you the tea, like straightforward. So, okay, yeah, the Tower. So that's a caution. Like, um, you don't want to become and do the things that have been done to you. We can, when we've been traumatized and we've been hurt and we've been abused and we've been talked about, there's sometimes, you know, and it's usually because we have to go deeper layers of our grief and our anger and our pain and like work through it in positive ways. Not positive ways that they need to feel like all sunshine and roses, but like ways that really like get to the root of things and then allow us to release it. Sometimes it's not, it makes me think of just don't try to get even. Call in divine justice. You have the right to do that, but don't make it a part of your plan and your agenda to get even, because that will keep you in a cycle, a lower vibrational state, and you'll continue to keep that energy in your field and then draw more of those situations. Instead of, those people are everywhere. Those people are literally everywhere. People who want to just talk bad about you, that just want to cast you down. And if you stay entangled with that energy, it might not be that person, but then another person is going to come and it's going to be another thing and it's going to be the same thing. And you get to do it again, and that's okay if you want to do it that way, but it's not my favorite way. So let's draw one more card. Let's assume that you got your caution, you got your discernment and the Fool. So the Seven of Swords and the Fool. So you're ready to leave that old energy behind. I think before we can truly do that, when someone's betrayed you and they've talked about you, you can't skip over it. I do see, because sometimes we hold on to like the bitterness or the anger because we haven't really fully fledged out the full lessons that we were supposed to, I hate that language. That are invited to learn from a particular circumstance. Because as we go along in life, we can take in and really like take in all the data of what's happened to us, understand, what was my part, what was happening in my energy body that attracted this in some way, or what's the counterpart to that, and how do I shift that, and how do I heal what happened in the past that is still, it's still my energy field. And sometimes that's a process, and we can stay fixated on what happened and the person, and that is definitely part of it. But it goes deeper. And then when you do the deeper work and you really excavate like some of those deeper things, then not only does that person just naturally like not feel relevant to you anymore, but the root of what was there in you, it might have been insecurity. It might have been, this person might have reminded you of a parent or a relationship in the past that was harmful, or all the times where you felt like you spoke clearly as the sacred rebel, just speaking truth, and people just used it and twisted it to make you the scapegoat, and that goes to a core wound. And so what is needed is a stronger sense of like self, not in a like I'm gonna get even sort of way, but like that deep self confidence from your deep self-worth. And so that's how you kind of transmute that and alchemize what happens to you, and then you're on a fool's journey again. So you guys are gonna have choices and things to choose from. And on the bottom of the deck is the King of Cups, things that are going to really fill your heart with joy. And it's going to bring a sense of balance and peace, where you feel stable in your emotions and you feel this quiet confidence. When I think of the King of Cups, I think of like somebody who's so like unfuckwithable emotionally, like they can experience all the emotions, but people can't just throw them off emotionally. That they have this like strength and stamina in their emotions, and they feel good. And that's you. That's where you're headed. So you guys are wonderful. Whatever collective that I am tapping into, it was an honor and a privilege. And I love you. Till next time.